This very well may be the Diet Free Zone's mascot, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Cheesecake.
Let's see what's cooking. Let's get the facts. Let's see what's cooking. It's time for yoyomax12.
Hello everyone. To make this you will need a springform pan, and you'll need a springform pan that is at least 3 inches high on the sides. Then place a circle of parchment in the bottom and then grease the inside of the pan. I used some cooking spray to do this. And now to make the brownie layer, you're going to melt 6 tablespoons of butter, put it in a bowl, and then add 1 1/4 cups of white granulated sugar and a tablespoon of vanilla. Stir that together until it is combined. And then you are going to blend in 2 eggs. Stir that around until it's smooth. Then add in 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 1/3 of a cup of unsweetened cocoa, half a teaspoon of baking powder, and a half a teaspoon of salt. And then stir that in until it is just combined. This is the brownie batter. It's going to go into the bottom of your springform pan. Be careful when you're spreading it around so that parchment circle in the bottom doesn't get all bunched up. Then bake this at 350 degrees for 25 minutes. While the brownie layer is baking, go ahead and make the cheesecake layer. That's a large mixing bowl and 2 pounds of cream cheese. Do not use unhappy cream cheese. It might spoil your cheesecake. Put all the cream cheese in the big bowl and you're going to blend it together so that it becomes nice and light and smooth and fluffy. And the best way to do this is to use cream cheese that's been brought to room temperature. Now you're going to add 5 eggs into the cream cheese. Add them one at a time until they're all blended in. Then add 1/2 cup of heavy cream or milk, a tablespoon of vanilla, and 1.5 cups of brown sugar that's been firmly packed, as well as 1 cup of creamy peanut butter. And then continue to stir until you get a nice smooth batter. Take 6 Reese's peanut butter cups and chop them up into quarters. And then when your brownie is out of the oven, you're going to sprinkle on 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips and then 1 cup of peanut butter chips, and then sprinkle on those peanut butter cups that you've cut into quarters. And just move them around so that they're equally distributed on top of that brownie layer. And this brownie is just out of the oven. It is still hot. You don't have to wait for it to cool. Then pour on the cheesecake filling. Smooth it out. And it's okay to go right up to the edge because this does not expand very much. Now this is going to be baked in a hot water bath, so in order to keep the water out of the cheesecake, you can wrap some tin foil around the bottom of your springform pan. I happen to have a silicone baking dish that fits underneath that baking pan perfectly, and it'll keep the water out. Put the springform pan right into that large roasting pan that's been filled partially with some hot water to about halfway up the sides of the pan, and then you're going to bake your cheesecake at 325 degrees for 90 minutes, 90. It is a long time, but that's a low heat. Once the 90 minutes was up, I shut the oven off, I cracked the door open, and I let the cheesecake cool in the oven for an hour before I removed it and allowed it to cool for another hour on the kitchen counter. And then I put it in the refrigerator to continue to chill. Now I had quite a bit of cheesecake filling left over because the springform pan I was using was only 2 3/4 of an inch tall. So what I did is I just threw some Oreo cookies and some peanut butter cups in the bottom of some muffin tins, and I filled them up with the leftover cheesecake filling. And I baked those in the oven, not in a water bath, just on the side at 325 degrees for about a half an hour or so until they were set and just lightly brown on the top. Here is the completed cheesecake. It's been baked and chilled in the refrigerator overnight. And make sure it is well chilled before you decide to unmold it or remove the sides of that springform pan. And make sure it's well chilled before you move it, because you don't want to go through all this trouble and have your cheesecake fall apart on you at this point. If it's well chilled, it's very easy to handle. I removed it from the pan. I peeled off that parchment circle that was on the bottom, and then I placed it on a serving plate. Now to decorate this, you can make some chocolate ganache. That's a 1/4 cup of heavy cream that I put in the microwave until it was hot. Then I added a cup of chocolate chips, let it sit, stirred those chocolate chips in until they were melted, and then put it in a Ziploc bag with the corner cut off so that I could drizzle some of this chocolate ganache over top of the cheesecake. You can further decorate this by adding more Reese's peanut butter cups. Cut them in half, and then you just have to place them around the edge of the cheesecake. You can use some of that extra chocolate ganache as glue to glue the peanut butter cups to the cheesecake if you need to. And here it is, completed in all its glory. It looks spectacular when it's finished, and I guarantee you it'll rival any cheesecake that you have purchased in a fancy restaurant or at a pastry shop. Now the brownie layer at the bottom does not overbake, nor does it burn after baking this long in the oven. It gets nice and dense and very fudgy. The chocolate chips, peanut butter chips, and peanut butter cups in the center are delicious, and the cheesecake topping is fantastic. It is creamy and smooth and just delicious and not really overly sweet. I love the ganache topping. It just finishes it off perfectly. This makes an enormous cheesecake that will serve at least 12 people, and the slices will be nice and big. And here are a few photos of the mini cheesecakes that I made with the leftover filling. These were pretty good too. I love cheesecake. It is my favorite dessert, and I've made quite a few of them on my channel. I put them all together on a cheesecake playlist, so if you want to see it, go ahead and click right on your screen or see the link below the video. Just click on show more. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.